Former 2018 presidential candidate Barrister Cameroon has been named to the board of Transparency International. The founder of the Now movement was also president of Transparency International Cameroon. Our reporter Josephine Binzi has details on that, and we tell you how commemorative activities to mark the 105th anniversary of the death of King Rudolph Douala Mangabel continues in Douala. Sawa traditional groups as well as groups from other communities have paid homage to the man regarded as a national hero. Those are top stories. Good evening and thanks for joining us. You're watching the primetime newscast on STV. One of the 2018 presidential candidates, Barrister Cameroon, has been named to the board of Transparency International, is a civil society group of international repute engaged in the fight against corruption. The founder of the Now movement was also one-time president of Transparency International Cameroon before he resigned to take part in the 2018 presidential polls. Josephine Binzi has the details.
2018 presidential candidate and international lawyer of Cameroonian nationality, Cameroon, has just been appointed to the much closed circle of 13 members of the board of the World Organization of Transparency International. Being the 2005 president of the Bar Association, he founded Transparency International Anti-Watchdog Cameroon chapter in the year 2000. Cameroon had for 2 previous years, according to Transparency International Corruption Perception Index, named as the most corrupt country surveyed. This had a negative toll on him as his status quo was challenged and almost dragged to court. Thus, many saw it risky for him to head such a body. Many of his clients at that time avoided him as many never wanted to be faced with a difficult situation with government. In an interview with Dutch World on the 9th of August 2018 on his possible tactics on corruption in Cameroon, fighting corruption with corrupt authorities can never be compatible from his response. The country is on a wrong lane while trying to combat corruption, he says. He was elected board of directors at Transparency International in 2004 and 2005 respectively. The Now movement leader was a founding member of the Pan-African Lawyers Union with the task of developing the legal profession. He has tirelessly from 2005 fought against corruption in Cameroon and in the African continent, as his appointment as an African to this council, made up of senior international experts responsible for supporting the actions of Transparency International, is a source of pride for the African continent.
In other news, the mayor of the Douala 1 municipality has today commissioned members in charge of the fight against urban disorder in the municipality. The move is in line with a competition launched by the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing to promote cleanliness in the cities of Douala, Yaoundé and Limbe. Details with Katrin Kone.
In a bid to keep the city of Douala clean, the mayor of the Douala 1 municipality, Lenge Malapa, today commissioned members for the fight against urban disorder in Douala.
Le MINDU a lancé un concours de la ville la plus propre qui concerne les communes de Yaoundé, de Douala et celle de Limbe.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has launched a competition for the most clean city in Douala, Yaoundé and Limbe. So in order to be part of this competition, we have to prepare ourselves. That is why we invited chiefs, quarter heads, market authorities and other partners in a bid to emerge top in this race. We know that the Douala 1 Council is presenting a positive look, but when it comes to a competition like this, we want to be excellent.
D'assez bien à bien et pourquoi pas à très bien. Donc,
the members were divided into 6 groups, that is, the subcommittee for the fight against urban disorder, subcommittee in charge of communication, subcommittee in charge of education and training centers, just to name a few. These groups are expected to reach the goal of the authorities in making Douala the cleanest city in Cameroon.
Urban disorder continues to grow in the city of Douala despite the efforts of administrative and municipal authorities. The occupation of public space continues to gain steam in many parts of the economic capital. Katrin Kone was at Rond-Point Daido and our reports.
Rond-Point Daido in the Douala 1 municipality is increasing, becoming the hub of urban disorder across the economic capital of Cameroon.
Pour l'instant, nous sommes des chefs de famille ici.
We are all family heads, and every time we find ourselves in the street, it's to look for something to eat. Everything we are doing in this area, be it up or down, it's illegal. We are not formally organized, and we need to approach authorities so we can operate legally. Standing as a gateway into the heart of the city, commuters and transporters are involved in the urban encroachments.
Par rapport à l'organisation, vous savez, on est ici de diverses mœurs. Nous viens de l'autre côté avec ces attitudes négatives. Le recadrement n'est pas facile en fait. Plus d'une fois on a essayé de le faire. On n'est jamais arrivé.
Planto drivers, loading and offloading. The existence of these buses, city dwellers say, has increased crime wave in the city as all caliber of persons get involved in illegal acts without authorization from hierarchy.
Students of Form 5 and upper state in the English subsystem of education have begun the written phase of the Cameroon General Certificate of Education, the GCE, in Kumba, Meme Division of the Southwest region. The examination started in 4 examination centers in the city with COVID-19 preventive measures duly respected. Katrin Kone has more.
The written phase of the General Certificate of Education, which kick-started all over the country Thursday, August 6, 2020, saw the strict compliance with COVID-19 safety measures in the 4 examination centers across the city of Kumba.
In the accommodation centers as early as 7, and I reiterated the fact that school A is writing in accommodation center A or B or C. And before it was 7:30, every candidate could locate where he or she was supposed to be writing. But then I draw the attention of school heads to be able to get close to the Bureau of Examination of the divisional delegation to be able to have information on the 2020 examination session. A majority of them seem not to be going into the platform, the multimedia platform, to have information disseminated by the various examination agency as ventilated by the divisional delegation.
The exams went on with no major hitches recorded.
Assessment is approaching excellence because of the 4 multi-accommodation centers. The examination so far is moving on hitch-free. We thank the Meme administration for the security dispositions put in place.
The end-of-year examinations, which normally take place in June, were moved to August due to the coronavirus outbreak.
A cholera vaccination campaign has been carried out in the Nkomitang neighborhood in New Bell here in Douala. The campaign, which ends on August 15, will cover the Bonasama, New Bell, Nilong and Japoma districts. Details with Josephine Binzi.
Cameroon has an increased cholera rate of about 53% since 2013 till date, according to the World Health Organization 2020 statistics. The vaccination campaign continues today at Chefferie de New Bell.
Actually, in the littoral region, so we recorded more than 700 cases since the beginning of this year here in the littoral region, like I said. So in this context, according to the International Committee of Fight Against Cholera, so the directory, yes, want that we organize so the vaccination campaign in like a complement measure, yes, to control the epidemic in this period of COVID-19.
Specific locations have been allocated for the administration of the vaccine.
Cholera vaccine, okay? We choose before 4 health districts: Onasama, New Bel, Nilon, and Japoma. We will vaccine almost 366 persons during this during this campaign.
Various strategies have also been put in place for the vaccination message to reach out to the population.
Yes, first of all, the strategy is the mass communication. Yes, we use all the means. We use radio, television, and also the face-to-face communication. Yes, we have community health workers who are deployed yes, in the field, yes, to give information, yes, to the people.
The vaccine, however, has a durability of 2 years with a 50% chance of protection against cholera, as continuous consumption of dirty water or undercooked food could trigger the manifestation of the disease. The vaccination campaign that began on August 1 will stretch through August 15, 2020.
The COVID-19 pandemic should not be a reason why mothers should not breastfeed their babies. On the occasion of the World Breastfeeding Week, medics are calling on mothers to administer proper breastfeeding or proper breast milk to their babies as a primary source of nutrition. Details with Christelle Asexwele.
The coronavirus disease should not be a reason for mothers not to breastfeed their children. However, breastfeeding mothers who have symptoms or are confirmed COVID-19 positive, a stringent respect of all barrier measures are to be observed by the breastfeeding mother to avoid the virus from spreading to the baby.
La maman doit se protéger, c'est-à-dire porter des gants après avoir lavé ses mains soigneusement.
The breastfeeding mother has to protect herself by wearing gloves after washing her hands thoroughly, as well as her breast with water and gently clean with a face towel or tissue. These rules are supposed to be closely respected by the breastfeeding mother, as breast milk is the best source of nutrition for most infants. Breast milk is very rich and protects the baby from many infections and strengthens the antibodies which fight against certain illnesses. Breast milk also contains proteins, reason why we recommend this milk for infants, as it has a lot of advantages, and also it's not bought, it's natural.
Le plus avantageux pour les enfants, de part d'abord le fait qu'on ne l'achète pas, c'est naturel.
Supporting breastfeeding for a healthier planet is the 2020 theme of this year's World Breastfeeding Week, an opportunity to support, protect, and encourage breastfeeding.
Security officers in the city of Douala say they have recorded an increasing incidence of theft in taxis, which comes with the advent of the rainy season. To surmount this challenge, inhabitants of the economic capital tell us that they have devised precautionary measures in the bid to avoid the bad boys and girls in taxis. Details in this report.
Aggression in taxis are one of the fallouts of the rainy seasons and late-night boarding of taxis. Once my neighbor boarded a taxi that carried along a handicapped man, unknown to her that the handicapped guy was a thief. The guy connived with the driver and was about to steal from her, but she screamed and others came to her rescue. That's when they knew that some handicapped persons could be criminals.
Donc c'est là on a constaté que non. Et parfois les handicapés sont vraiment des personnes malhonnêtes.
While some explain why they can board taxis at night, we need to be in a group, without which I can't board a taxi at night. If we are 3, 4, or 5 of us, I can confidently take a taxi.
Je m'assure d'abord de voir le nombre de personnes qui se trouvent.
I would like to see the number of persons seated in a taxi and observe them keenly. But often, if it's full, I don't take it.
S'il y a surcharge, je ne monte pas, je n'emprunte pas le taxi.
Others give strategies on identifying unsafe taxis in the late hours. To me, boarding a taxi, whether it's during the day or at night, make sure the badge is well placed. Verify the number plate, and if he has a badge at the driver's cabin, this will give the passenger more confidence. Insecurity is one of the main challenges inhabitants of the city of Douala may have to deal with as the economic cornerstone of the country. Though many hold the notion that taxis can be unsafe at night, it still will shield you much better when the downpour is heavy.
Just as we told you in the headlines, weekly activities to commemorate the 106th anniversary of the death of King Rudolph Douala Mangabel continues here in Douala. Some Sawa groups and other traditional communities have paid tribute to the national hero. Christelle Asexuele completes her story.
Thursday, August 6, 2020, was the turn of Sawa traditional groups and associations in Douala to pay homage to Rudolph Douala Mangabel, a fallen national hero, in the framework of the commemorative week marking the 106th anniversary of his death. We are here to meditate and ask for favors from our hero to grant us unity, as we have many problems in our community and in the Sawa land in general. We pray he gives us the grace to live in peace and harmony, and he should accompany us for this peace to reign. In addition to this, those considered as heirs of Rudolph Mangabel came out to the vault of this hero in Bonanjo and called out for peace to reign between the Sawa and the Iwondos. Douala Mangabel received many communities in the littoral region with open arms. He worked very hard, and we, the heirs, are called to continue in the same light of living together with other communities, so we don't forget what happened before to avoid such manifestations, and it's only through peace. So my presence here is a sign of peace and recognition of our union of living together between our two communities, the Sawa and the Iwondos. The week of tributes commemorating the 106th anniversary of the death of the then Douala King of Kings, or Tete Kumbo in the Douala language, ends tomorrow, August 8, 2020, with other rituals which will be performed at the spot where he was hanged here in Douala.
Out of the country, many have described the mammoth blast that shook the Lebanese city of Beirut and left thousands injured as Lebanon's Chernobyl. The incident left at least 300,000 people homeless and over 100 dead. French President Emmanuel Macron has paid a visit to the battered port city. Details with the VOA.
Beirut, once known as Paris, again looks like a war zone, ravaged by an explosion that has been described as near nuclear in its intensity. Young men and women have begun to clear the roads of shards of glass, so it is easier for people to reach their homes and find those missing. Dozens are said to be buried under the debris. So far, over 130 have died and more than 5,000 injured.
More problems, more crises. We already have many crises, economical crisis, corona, everything, and then with this we're out of everything.
The injured were rushed to hospitals, but they too bore the brunt of the blasts. St. George University Hospital, one of the city's biggest, evacuated hundreds of patients. Some could not be saved. Several died, as well as a number of nurses. With no time to waste, the hospital is already appealing for help to rebuild and restart operations.
Any support will be helpful for the hospital, especially the fundraising from the state, from everywhere.
As signs pointed to an explosion caused by a large amount of ammonium nitrate improperly stored at a warehouse, despite warnings, activists called for an independent probe. After months of anti-government demonstrations, mistrust in the leadership is very much in the air. France's visiting president on Thursday was met by chants from those critical of Lebanon's politicians. Emmanuel Macron offered aid and called on Lebanon's ruling elite to promptly usher in real reforms.
I want to be able to listen, understand, and help organize international aid, support, and assistance to Beirut and the people of Lebanon.
From Israel attacks to Syrian boots on the ground and the 80s civil war, the Lebanese have lived through catastrophe more than once. But no amount of experience could have prepared anyone for this. Once again, the people of this city are picking up the pieces. Anshul Vora for VOA News, Beirut.
And that caps this edition of the Primetime Newscast on STV. Thank you very much for watching. More news comes up at 8 p.m. in the French language. Tomorrow, Saturday, will be the weekend bilingual news team. From us, it's bye-bye and a great weekend.